Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the BNI Interview Show, where we have conversations with BNI members. For those who don't know, BNI is a referral marketing networking group where entrepreneurs meet weekly and support each other. You can always come and participate in our chapter. We are the Partners in Growth chapter, and we're located in San Diego. We'll put a link on how to join our chapter or to come visit us or any other chapter in the comments or just right under any video. My name is Antoine Didienne, and we're getting to know our network. Today, we're having a conversation with real estate agent Barbara Blakeley. So, Barbara, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
Yes, thank you very much, Antoine.
Yes,
so my name is Barbara Blakeley. I am a residential realtor with Keller Williams, and I have the distinct honor and privilege of helping people build generational wealth through real estate. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or a move-up homeowner or a savvy investor that's looking for up to 4 units, I will put my 25 plus years of real estate experience to work for you. Because my real estate goals are very simple, and they are to help you achieve yours.
Which is, I know it's it's something that we all present ourselves differently, but I know for a fact, because you're in my chapter, that you're really focused on helping others. It's too obvious in how you present yourself and how I know you every day, that how much you love that stuff. So, and how passionate you are about that stuff. So that's awesome. So, I mean, I know it's, I think it's an easy question because I know you, but what brought you to BNI?
So I was introduced to BNI about 14 years ago. And when I started working in real estate in San Diego in 2003, I decided that I wanted to build my business by referral. I worked old school where we'd cold call or we'd door knock or things of that nature, which is great for some people. Some people are really built for that type of lead generation. I'm not. I'm much more interested in getting to know people and then being of service to those who know me, like me, and hopefully trust me. And so I decided that I was going to build my business by referral. And so how do you do that? Well, you go and you meet people and you network with people and you talk to people and you offer up your services. And I joined the Chamber of Commerce, and that was good, but I found myself surrounded by 300 people who were all going, here's my card, here's my card, here's my card. And nobody was really developing relationships. And then I met a group of women who were all in business roles that, were somehow or other less than stellar reputations, not them individually, but their professions that they had chosen to pursue, whether that be, attorneys. I hate to say it, but nobody likes an attorney, a politician. And let's face it, real estate agents weren't real high on the trust factor for a myriad of reasons. And so when I joined this group of women, it allowed me to really get into a space of helping people realize their dreams. And through that group of women, one woman introduced me to BNI, and she invited me to join the chapter. And I came and I checked it out, and I was completely enamored. But there was a bit of a stumbling block, and the timing of it just wasn't right. And so even though as much as I wanted it, I couldn't comfortably fulfill my obligation to pursue membership. So about a year later, I get a call from the same woman, and she said, you need to come and check out our chapter again. Well, as luck would have it, there were some changes that had occurred both in my life and that particular chapter. And so I came, and I was absolutely determined that I was going to join because I loved what they did, which was they built business relationships. They built relationships that were based upon trust and camaraderie
Yeah.
and reciprocity and what we all know as the giver's gain philosophy.
Yeah.
And so I put in my application, and they told me that, real estate agents were a hot commodity and everybody wanted my spot. And so, as my tagline is, I endeavor to persevere. I just kept showing up until they couldn't say no. And they
Nice.
finally voted me into the chapter, and I've been with the chapter for just shy of 14 years. And it is absolutely a blessing. It's a lot of work, but the best work you can ever imagine, because I have some really incredible relationships that have come from that, both personal and professional.
Oh, no, 100%. Yeah. It's, I mean, the more I have these talks with other members of our chapters, or any, members that are in BNI, we all are in BNI for the same reasons, because we all do business. We all want to build our business based on relationships, which frankly, why would you want to do it any other way?
Right.
Because you build personal relationships and professional relationships, and in this, where I mean, social media is based on engineering social trust, right? It's the same thing with our business types, right? We are in the business of trust, right? Much more so than we are in the business of actually what we are doing. I feel like it, like when people hire me as a photographer because they trust my work, because they like my work. They hire me. They don't hire my photography. They hire me. And same reason why people work with you, right? I imagine that's so it's for me, I know that it's same for you, that stuff is really important. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know where I heard it, but it's always resonated with me, the idea that people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So why wouldn't, as you say, why would you want to do business with anyone else? Sometimes you don't have that opportunity, but by being a part of the BNI family, I know that I'm surrounded by people who share that philosophy. And so when I get a referral or give a referral, I'm going to get that same level of trustworthiness. My client's going to get that same level of trustworthiness that I get every week.
Yeah. So, I mean, to that end, what's your biggest challenge right now in your business?
Oh, in my business particularly, the biggest challenge is inventory. I have been through many cycles of real estate, and this extreme seller's market, i.e. extremely low inventory, has been literally years. And there's some interesting statistics as far as the number of homes built. When it stopped after the 2008 crash, homes weren't being built in big, large communities, large subdivisions. And so here we are, we've got more people coming in than we have going out. And we have more people who want to buy a home than there are homes available. And so getting that inventory is critical and crucial in helping these new buyers into their homes and helping them realize the American dream of home ownership. And when you do get a listing, to be able to leverage that to more listings. It used to be that, you'd put your sign in the ground and your neighbors and your seller's neighbors would talk and they would say, oh yeah, Barbara's my agent. She's done a great job, blah, blah, blah. And the neighbors might decide to sell, or the neighbor might call you and say, hey, I see you've got a listing here. We want our family member, our friends to move in the neighborhood. What do you have? What do you have coming up? And it used to be pretty easy to leverage one listing into another or leverage that into a buyer. But, with so few people wanting to sell, because let's face it, it's very difficult if you bought your home 5 or 10 years ago to make a lateral move. Even if you could sell your home, it's tough to buy the same home without spending more. So why would you want to do that? And so inventory is without a doubt the biggest challenge. working with buyers is always a joy. And there are ways to mitigate the challenges that come with buyers, with the exception of inventory. I can't conjure up out of thin air a house or a condo or whatever for a potential buyer. So that's the biggest challenge that I and quite frankly, many in my industry have been facing for many years.
Yeah. Many years now?
Many years, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there's been an inventory shortage for years. It's
Oh,
just
wow.
finally hit a national level.
Yeah.
Because when you open up the front page of CNN or Fox News or NPR, whoever it is that you get your news source from, and you see that this is there's a housing crisis literally nationwide.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been facing this for years, and it's finally culminated in what we have today, which is pure, utter chaos and madness.
Yeah. Even me, I'm surprised. Like we bought a small house 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago almost. And we thought we had struck a deal because, it's a reasonable house size, etc. But, in a neighborhood that is slowly coming back to life. And now it's worth almost $300,000 more than it used to be in 3 years ago. It's insane. I couldn't even believe it when, anyways.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really, I've always believed that real estate is a good vehicle for building generational wealth. Always known that, and statistically, you can look across the board.
Sure.
Going back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and it just is a sure bet, which is why, I always say, I challenge you to find any millionaire that doesn't have some sort of real estate in their portfolio.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a sure bet. It's very
stable.
It's very stable. And the other thing is people have to have a place to live, right? It's not like the stock market. It's not like cryptocurrency. It's not like some airy-fairy thing that's out there. It's bricks and mortar. People have to have a place to live. And so you can either pay your mortgage and build equity in your own home, or you can pay rent and build equity in somebody else's home.
Yeah.
So
tell me a story about a success story in your business that you've had recently, or not even recently, just one that just comes to mind.
Yeah. So this is just one, but I think it's a very good one of my BNI success stories. So we had a member who joined the chapter many years ago. She was an event planner, and one thing led to another. She left the chapter. In the midst of it all, she referred her parents' friends to me who were relocating from the DC area to San Diego, and they needed to buy a home. So I helped them buy a home, and fast forward 5 years or so, and they called me and they said, Barbara, we've decided we're going to take a job in Copenhagen, and we need to sell our home.
Okay.
So I said, well, I'm happy to help you. So we put the sign in the front yard, and the next door neighbor came over and started chatting with me. And he said, my dad is not doing well, and we're probably going to have to sell my dad's house. So I said, well, I'm happy to help you with that. And so when it came time, which was just literally, I don't think it was even 6 months later, his dad passed and they had to sell his dad's home. So I listed that home. Well, in the meantime, another client whose father had passed away called me and said, my dad passed away and we need to sell his home. And so I said, okay, I'm happy to list with you, or I'm happy to list your home. But if you would be interested, I'd like to buy your home. Waived the commissions, did all that stuff. I was buying it personally for myself.
Sure.
And then the attorney of the gentleman who passed away, they called and said, hey, we found this property in Hummel, but we have to sell our house. Will you help us sell our house? So I helped them sell their house.
That's insane.
So I listed 4 homes and sold 2 homes in a matter of 8 months. And then she referred her coworker, who I sold he and his wife a home, and then I helped his dad sell the condo that they'd been living in. And then my original BNI partner decided to buy a home. So as a result of her participation in BNI, I have sold 11 properties, either represented a buyer or a seller on 11 properties from one member of BNI.
Outstanding.
You can't buy that kind of business other than through, I guess you can through BNI.
Yes.
Yeah. We pay for our membership, but really it is, you reap what you sow. And that relationship was a launching pad to so much incredible business that I just think to myself, why wouldn't everyone want that kind of?
Oh, 100%. And when I made the decision to join BNI, it was kind of the same thing for me. Like in the sense that it was a stretch because BNI is not cheap, right? But yeah, exactly. You're shrugging shoulders, but for a very good reason. As a newcomer into BNI, it felt a stretch, at the beginning, because there's the BNI fee plus the chapter fee. Overall, it's a significant amount of money, but you get what you pay for, one. And two, I realized when I did the math that if I was closing one referral for a wedding or for a session, etc., I was going to reimburse it immediately. And that's exactly what happened. I reimbursed my own investment into BNI within 2 months, I believe, because I worked with Azali and I worked with Brian Bounce Back immediately. And again, for me, it was, what am I going to do? Like in terms of marketing, because that's exactly, this is marketing. This is part of our networking, right? Marketing.
Right. Absolutely.
Was I going to invest this in going to go to networking meetings, like you said, like where you meet 100 people, give 100 business cards and you never hear from again? Or was I going to invest this in myself for my own business, thoughtfully and for the long term? BNI made, there was not even a it was just a no-brainer decision, so
yeah. And I think most
especially after visiting the chapter,
yeah.
I was absolutely convinced it was the right people, like you guys, right?
Yeah. So. Well, and I think if people can do the math, and some people get it, and it's as you say, it's a no-brainer, but for other people, it's a big chunk of money, and there's no guarantee that you're going to see that, or it might take some time.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, my participation with BNI, because as we talked about earlier, people don't buy and sell houses every month or every year. They buy and sell on average every 7 years. And so it's not just enough to have the people that are in BNI with you, some of which already have homes and have no intention of buying another. Others probably aren't going to buy for one reason or another. And so you're depending upon those referrals. But as you say, if you can do the math and say, for me, the average sales price in San Diego County is about $685,000. If I sold one home, it would pay for years worth of BNI dues, right? So I only need to do one. What I learned with BNI is it's the gradual, then immediate acceleration. So when I first joined, maybe I got one listing or one sale that first year.
Sure.
And the second year, it might have been a little bit more. And the third year, a little bit more. But then all of a sudden, I hit this peak velocity where I just went dee, 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 and then I went whoosh. And so now I can attribute easily 1/3 to 1/2 of my gross commission income to BNI.
Wow.
Now, I've been in the chapter 14 years, so Rome was not built in a day.
No.
But over time, it pays. And it within the first transaction, it paid for itself. And since then, it's just, I mean, I could be in BNI until I'm dead, and I would still never use up all the money that I got versus what I paid. Yeah, it's been hugely beneficial for my business.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Well, I think that's a perfect moment to end this.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
right. So, and for anybody who's watching, if you're interested in coming to see our group, please, go to the URL that will be like right there at the bottom of the image of the video. And I guess we'll see you soon at Partners in Growth or anybody else, anywhere else at BNI. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Thanks.